Don't touch that dial. You're tuned in to the Dread Podcast Network.
Welcome to Development Hell. For every horror movie that hits V.O.D, countless others end up D.O.A. Development Hell is the podcast dedicated to unearthing these cursed horror productions. We're going to find out what went wrong and then decide if these titles still stand a shot at the green light. I am your host, Josh Korngut. I am the managing editor of Dread Central. I am also a filmmaker in Toronto, Canada. This podcast is a proud member of the Dread Podcast Network. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Development Hell. Today, we are digging into James Wan's unmade Texas Chainsaw Massacre film from 2006. It wasn't just one, it wasn't just two, but rumor has it there were going to be a trilogy of unmade films, and we're going to dig into that a little bit later. Today, I am joined by my Dread Podcast Network siblings, Kat and Jazz, of Girl That's Scary. How's it going today?
Hey, going pretty good.
Could you do me a favor and introduce yourselves to the Development Hell audience?
Hello, hi, I'm Kat, one half of the Girl That's Scary podcast. I like long walks around the creek and eating sandwiches. I'm happy to be here.
Hey guys, I am Jazz, the 40 ounce connoisseur, the other half of Girl That's Scary. And I enjoy roaming the wasteland and Fallout, watching very bloody movies, and enjoying a 40-ounce beer.
For people that haven't actually listened to your podcast yet, how would you describe it?
I would say it's a horror comedy podcast. We were just making stuff funny by accident, but we just talk about horror, sci-fi, and everything in between. So maybe you might get a one-off GTS review, you might get a deep dive into a franchise, or we might swoop in and talk about an entire subgenre. So you never know what you're going to get.
Well, today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about the James Wan unmade Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, but we're going to be talking about a lot of things. We're going to be talking about James Wan and his legacy. We're going to talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and of course, this unmade movie. The references for today's episode are by author Cody Hammond of Joe Blow and Jason Jenkins over at Bloody Disgusting. The audience here might remember Jason from being on a ton of these episodes, so if you want to show him some love, follow him on Twitter at Jinx1981. First thing I want to talk about today with you guys is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. We all know it started in 1974 with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper. It went on to spawn 9 films of various timelines. And I'm just wondering, how would you describe this film to someone that just landed from Mars?
Wow. From Mars.
Yeah, they don't know about it.
Musty. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. A musty family eats humans. That's what I would tell them. And that is overall what the franchise is. Like, of course, it says other things. There's other, subtext in the movies. It's a bunch of musty people eating people. It's a lot going on with that family, and somebody really needs to call the authorities on them. I don't understand why they're allowed to just hang out in Texas. Like, that's wild to me.
I mean, I feel like the authorities are often called, and then they're often just as bad, if not worse, or just related.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Question for both of you. What is your general relationship with this franchise? How does it stack up to all of the other iconic horror franchises for you?
Oh, okay. Well, this is usually just like a fun one to just throw on in the background for me. My fave out of all is like the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like, all right, let's get into something dusty today. And not in a bad way, but like, it's wow. I first got into this film kind of watching the first one, but really after watching the 2003 version. So as a teen. So it really it messed me up. So that's where this franchise is for me.
Kind of grew up watching a lot of the sequels. I did not see the original movie until after I saw the 2003 remake. I went to theaters for my 13th birthday and was like, Mom, I got to see this movie. And she's like, all right, whatever. And I'm in there, 13-year-old me is like, oh my God, they're putting people on hooks. Oh Lord. So that movie definitely traumatized me. And I think if you want to feel a little uncomfortable, if you want to watch a movie that's going to make you want to shower afterwards, any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies would be ideal. I like watching them during the summer to throw on in the background. They do feel like a dusty, musty summer. And, I enjoy watching at least one of them out of the franchise, like at least once a year.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting at least one of these movies in a year. Not my favorite of the franchises, but it's impossible not to respect it on some level. It's so influential. So you mentioned that maybe the first time you encountered it was with the 2003 remake. Is that right?
Yeah.
I saw it before. Like
Mm.
I saw the one with Matthew McConaughey
What?
first.
No.
Yes, because that came out in like what, 94, 95, like
Uh-huh.
around that time. So by like 96, 97 or something, it started coming on TV.
Oh.
So, I was a young warthog and it would be on TV. I definitely remember that movie. And that was my first portrayal of really like, oh, that's Leatherface. Oh, that's Texas Chainsaw. I don't even think I understood that they were eating people at the beginning. I just thought that they were this family that lived out there and they were just, beating people ass when they come in contact with them because they were unwell. And that's what I thought. But then I'm like, okay, when I watched the 2003 one, and by the time I was 12, 13, I could piece together a little bit more than my 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old brain could. And I was like, oh.
I have to admit something. I have never seen Next Generation. Am I missing out? Do I need to get in there?
No.
No.
Kat said no, and I'm like,
Wow.
actually, I want you to watch it at least
Okay.
once.
I feel like I have to. I feel like they're playing with gender on that one more than usual.
It's not I don't know. I don't know about that one. I just feel like you got to put your own eyeballs on it because they do stuff with the character because Leatherface is just a different person almost every movie. And I'm
Yeah.
like, who is this guy? Because you clearly have a different Leatherface every time, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that it takes all these detours. They're like Texas Chainsaw side missions, but I recommend watching it once just because it's fucking nuts. Like what the fuck? Matthew McConaughey, I just can't believe he's in this movie. That is one thing right there. So, and Renee Zellweger, is that how you
Yeah.
say her
Renee
name?
yeah.
Yeah.
She's also there, and she's actually not bad. She runs for her life. I kind of like her in the position she's in. She kind of doesn't fuck around as much.
Oh my god, 2 Oscar winners.
Yeah,
Neat. Okay, I'm
in
gonna
this
have to watch
random
it one day.
movie.
Other than the first one, like, what are some of your favorite entries in this bonkers franchise?
Okay. So, like we said, the 2003 version.
Yeah.
The second one, I'm holding my nose the whole way through, but depending my mood, I might want to rock something. And then surprisingly, the 2022 version, only because we're really getting a Chainsaw Massacre for real. Like,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. The storyline, the choices that were made, okay, that's a whole nother conversation. We're not gonna hold the girl to that one. But for the actual massacre part, yes.
Yeah, he really gets a whole bunch of people in the 22 one. That bus scene
Yes.
is, I have to say, yeah, pretty iconic.
Yeah, yeah. They were hating. They were hating. People were hating what they did with Sally, and I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. But also, Sally is only in one movie. There's like 10 movies, guys. She's not like
I
weak throughout the
know.
franchise. Relax.
I did hate it. I have to be honest and say that I hated the new one, but I do like how violent it is, and some of the scenes were just great. Mostly the bus scene.
Mostly the bus scene. They made choices, but I do like I like part 3 mainly because I think a black man survives in that one, so that's nice. Because you weren't getting that in like 93.
No.
That's especially a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Ooh, and I think it was Kid Foray. Fine, love him. I of course the 2003 version, and then trying to think which one because I'm like the newer ones are the ones that because the sequel, the beginning, that's too much. That was too much. I was very stressed.
It's
I was getting a little,
gross. It's too gross.
and it's cruel, just so fucking cruel. So I feel like the 2003 one is the top billing for me, next to maybe part 3, which I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that one. I do like 2, although the final girl, her scream sends me to hell. But I still will watch it.
I have to say, I am a big fan of number 2. I don't know if I can back that up with anything. It's just so campy and bizarre. And there's like these long stretches of them running underground, and there's just like lamps and Christmas lights and skeletons, and it just feels like I'm in like a crappy like haunted house, and I love that about it.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
It's like Southern, it's giving, okay. You know, the last like 6 years or so, we've been doing a lot of Southern Gothic, like Deep South kind of, all the Gothic movies you would think about were often like up north, somewhere in England, this castle. But a lot of and then of course, sometimes they would have it in the South, or Louisiana was a hot spot for a Gothic horror. But they're just having like movies where it's like these old Southern houses. Those plantations, although I can't stand plantations, they send me to hell, but they all do provide a good setting for horror, at least to
Mm-hmm.
me. There's because it's already, I'm like already dread. It's already feeling, and then the inside is usually fucking run down. I
Mm-hmm.
know it's ghost in there. I know it's ghost in there.
Oh, it's
It is.
ghosts for days. Have you seen Sharp Objects, the HBO miniseries?
No,
I
not
have
yet.
not, but
Oh,
I've heard good things.
you gotta watch it just for me as a personal favor, because it really does that Southern Gothic stuff really, really good. Yeah, and it stars Patricia Clarkson. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's one of my favorites. Gay icon lady. Beautiful stuff. Yeah. Who's your favorite Leatherface, like, of the bunch? You were saying that they're all so different. Do you have any standout faves?
Oh man. Fuck. The OG, of course. I really enjoy him. He's a
Mm-hmm.
good time, and then he has dance moves, so we love that.
Yeah.
Um, I I like the new not do one, the 2003 one, of course, very brutal. Doesn't really give the double side of, because the first one is like, oh, he's really just listening to his family. He's kind of, some parts of him
Mm-hmm.
are kind of childlike. 2003, no, he means business. He is the older cousin in the family, and he know what's up. He's about to turn y'all into Salisbury steak. That's what's about to happen to y'all, and Lo Siento. But I think that, which one? Okay, 2 is interesting, although I don't like the movie as much. I think that's an interesting Leatherface because he seems more like sympathetic in the way that, oh, I don't mean like, and then he's shifty because he'll be listening, he'll be following directions. So they'll be like, yeah, you get rid of the girl, and he's like, yeah, I did, and his eyes get all shifty. I'm like, no, bruh, you not listening. You're a bad child. Like, this is going on. You're a teenager who didn't follow the rules and you trying to hide it.
He's so weird in part 2, and I do appreciate that. Although some of the like sexual undertones are a little uncomfortable, but
Very uncomfortable.
so weird. Yeah, he's scary as hell in 2003. Very like hulking and like undefeatable, kind of like in the new one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, he was dangerous in the new one. I was like, oh my God, did he rip his jaw off? What the fuck? I was like, oh
What?
no, this is Michael Myers behavior. This is out of control.
I don't like Jaws, and something. I feel like every horror fan has like a couple of acts of violence that they just can't handle in horror. And for me, like the number one is scalpings, but it's followed pretty closely by like skinning. And goddamn, this it happens so much in this franchise.
Well, they gotta cut the skin off. They trying to make meats. They trying to get a good cut of
Mm-hmm.
the meat, and I'm
Oh,
stressed because scalping is but also loose
Mm.
jaws. Like
oh,
anything with
Mm.
exposed teeth
oh.
really fucks me up. Oh,
Oh yeah, that shit's nasty. Do you guys so like for me it's scalping. Do you guys have that one thing? Like I hear a lot of people like can't handle like fingers breaking. Like for you, like what do you not want to see happen in a horror movie?
It's people getting their skin peeled, like when they get
Ooh,
like they peel the skin off.
ooh.
like a grape.
Also, anything that whenever
Not a
people
great.
resort to cannibalism, it's usually like
Ooh.
cannibalism, and then they're like, oh man, I don't know, and then the next scene they peel the skin off, and I'm like a
No.
banana peel, and I'm like, please no, not like this. Like it's that that's usually the escalation. Anything with the eyes too, like when they
Mm-hmm.
zoom in on the eyes, and I'm like, oh god, they can't
Mm,
see. So
Lucille
yeah.
Fulci, why are you doing this to
Oh.
us? Please.
Yeah.
Oh
Eyeballs
my
are
God.
no good.
Yeah, again, I'm an exposed jaw, broken jaw, or like when you see bones that are like going the opposite way of the way they're supposed to go, that really, oh no, like not the elbow turned inside out. Like, please, that bone is fucked.
Oh
The
yeah.
arm is linguini. That's why that Saw trap from like Saw 3 where they start spinning the bones the
No, not
opposite
the Bone
way.
Breaker. I think that's when I turned that
Jeez.
movie off. I have to be honest with you. When the Bone
That's from
Breaker
the
came out.
That's one of my favorite sequels. I like Saw 3
Yeah.
better than Saw 1. I know people are throwing tomatoes. Boo. Tomato, tomato, tomato. Don't care. It has some of my favorite traps
Wow.
in
I'm standing
there.
in front. I'm standing in front.
Not you
Oh.
standing for catching tomatoes, please.
It's like that meme of like the protector and the person sleeping in the bed. That's you guys. Yeah, James Wan, I think, had a lot to do with part 3. I think it's the only other sequel other than the first movie that he like executive produced and like gave the story to. So maybe that's why it's good.
Okay, all right. I can see that.
Do you have least favorite entries in this bonkers franchise?
Ooh, wow. So the 3D, when they say, when she goes, yeah, do your thing, cuz I say, I know y'all fucking lying. I
Oh my
know
God.
y'all fucking lying. Please be fucking for real. Please don't do this to us. Like, I know you didn't, but
She did.
she did, and it was a choice.
She has an
It was a
Emmy
choice.
nomination now, that woman.
For the witch show?
She was on the first season of The White Lotus.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
Yeah.
okay, because I'm gonna say for what?
For Texas Chainsaw 3D, of course.
No.
Mhm.
Leatherface is okay, but it's just really
Okay, but
bloody
which
and
Leatherface? Because there's
oh,
two.
you're right. The newer Leatherface, so like 2017 or something like
Yes.
that. It's gruesome. And for whatever reason, I decided to watch it at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning for the
Perfect.
first time I watched it. And yeah, it's just a gore fest. Story wise, they really just delete. I don't know what the fuck is going on. That family tree, that Sawyer, whoever family tree is literally crooked as fuck. I don't know.
Hmm.
Their branches be going all kinds of way. They be deleting cousins and then adding a new sim. I'm like, what the fuck is going on in here?
There's not a lot of rules. Okay, can I tell you a little bit about Leatherface 2017? Is that it's directed by this French duo. I'm not going to say the names because I'll get it wrong, but they did a couple of my favorite movies of all time. They did Inside from
Mm-hmm.
2007,
Wow.
but one that I like even more, which is called Livid from 2011.
Ooh, I love Livid with
I
the
love,
ballerinas.
yeah. I saw that in theaters and I was like, it's just like one of my favorite movies of all time. And I haven't been able to find it. It's not on Shutter Canada, and you cannot download that stuff on the internet. Not that I would.
Oh my god, that's really sad because
Isn't
it
it
was
sad?
on because Shutter
Mm,
did like a new French Extreme for a time, and
I
I that's
know.
how I watched it. I watched it on Shutter. I had never seen it before, like what last year.
Hmm.
So I think we did it
Oh
last year.
no.
Yeah, I that was so good. Okay, that makes a lot of sense with the gore we see. It's very brutal. The
Hmm.
gore is A1. I enjoy that part, but the rest of it, I'm like, you know what? I don't know, guys. I don't know.
The tone is a little bit like crooked. It's not quite correct for a Texas Chainsaw movie.
It's
Yeah.
not, but it's not a terrible movie. I just
It's
it's not
not
the
the
best one.
worst of the 9.
I'm so
No.
upset. It's available to rent right now.
Okay,
Like
why?
I want to
Whoa.
bring you stateside just for this. Like I'm looking at it on the internet right now. It's available. I'm also trying to see if we can find like a Blu-ray for you because we know this
You
struggle.
can't. Okay, if anyone finds one, send it to me. And please. And thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna search the interweb.
It's one of
Yeah,
my favorites.
because I think you should have that movie. That's really
It's
special
and I
because that
hope
movie's good.
watch I finally get it again and I'm like, oh, this? No. No, I think it's still gonna be my fave. You know when you imprint on a movie, even if it's bad, you're like, this is now my movie. That's how I feel.
It's like, oh, it doesn't matter. You watch it at a pivotal time in your life, so
Hmm.
that's all that is. But I watched it as a grown up, and I had not seen it at a pivotal time in my life, and I still really liked it.
It's
So
so bizarre. Okay, people at home maybe don't know what it's about. So it's like this these two people or three people break into this woman's house who turns out to be a vampire slash ballerina teacher slash I don't know what else. And it's very like gothic fantasy, almost Guillermo del Toro energy, but on a budget. And it's just insane. I love it.
it's definitely very gothic. Oh yeah, you once you
Yeah.
said that, I was like, oh, you're right. It does, like when they make her defeat. Do you know what? Watch Livid
Hmm.
if you can find Livid. I think it's worth the money, and so is
Uh-huh.
Frontiers.
Oof. I can't sometimes with the French extreme because I'm a little tiny baby.
I love
Scary.
French Extreme, and that's why my friend said she's not talking to me right now because I made her watch Titan, and she is not dealing with my shit. She was like, "Did she just fuck that?" Yes, yes. That's what happened.
That's the easiest part of the movie. Like the rest of it's even scarier and more nasty.
Yeah, and she was like, "Wait a minute, this is wild." I was like, "It's just getting started," and she was like, "Oh God."
Ugh. Although nothing in that movie compares to one scene in Raw where she goes to like the school doctor and they like, do you know what I'm talking about? And they like look at her wound and they like remove a crunchy bit, and I've never been the same ever since.
It's been a
Rise.
while, but yeah.
No, too gross for me. I'm sorry. Before we move on to the world of James Wan, I'm wondering, have you guys been keeping up to speed with this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game that's on the horizon?
I have heard whispers, but I know nothing else. And you know what?
Mm.
Would it be like Friday? Because I do enjoy Friday the 13th, where kind of
Mm-hmm.
you ride and then your car breaks down and you have to survive. And maybe what if there's more than one way to survive and more than one way to lose? Oh, that would be great. Or you just play like online with your friends and all of y'all try to escape the family. That would be great.
It's exactly the same. In fact, it's by the same studio that made that game. So it's very
Oh.
similar. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I would pay money. I would pay top dollar.
Same.
And you can play as the family, so like you're not just Leatherface. You can be like different members of the family, and they're making new members too, or you're people trying to escape. And like
Grandpa.
it looks, I'm sorry, terrifying. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it.
I'm
But
gonna try.
I'm so scared of video games. There's something about playing horror that is just like a next dimension of I cannot do it. Well, I love the Friday the 13th game. It was so
much
good.
fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? What's the less scary part? Play the monster.
No, I
then it's
can't.
like-
It's too hard.
Ah!
It's so hard. I've never
I'm
figured
always
it out.
Jason. I'm
Oh, of
always
course.
Jason.
Of course
I'm
you
like,
are.
yes.
If
Because
I'm
I don't know how to
Jason, no.
escape.
Oh my god, if I'm Jason, I'm literally the asshole that just leaves and everyone has to restart the game because I'm like, I'm not doing this.
No,
That's
I
me.
chase people around and I see, if they beat me, they beat me. If
They
they don't,
always
okay.
beat me. They always beat me. It's just so sad.
I've won a few
But
times.
I can really make it work as a counselor though, depending, like the goth girl could really get her, I could really make her survive. So
Yeah. And if you play with fun people, they have a plan. They'll be like, all right, so we go stand behind this door. I watched like a Twitch video or a YouTube video. They was like, look, we see him outside. He about to come through the door. And everybody had weapons. It was like, as soon as he cut through the door, whoop his ass. So as soon as he come through the door, they all started beating the shit out of Jason.
That's
and then they
fun.
beat his ass and ran away and pretty much escaped. I was like, look at y'all banded together to beat his ass. I love this.
What if we made like a Dread Podcast Network Friday the 13th game? I would be into that.
I would play.
I'd play. I'm not gonna lie, because like I said, I'd play. It'd be a good time.
I've heard rumors. I haven't played in a long time, but I've heard rumors that you can't play anymore. That like the game has been shut down or something negative happened with it because of the rights. But I'm speaking out of my butt. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But that'd be sad.
I don't know about that, but now I'm about to look it up because
You found me a
What?
link. You found me a link. I'm gonna buy
Yes.
it. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'm
Well,
gonna have to
you
buy
know
an
what happened
all
with
region
Freddy?
player. I'll do it. Do you guys feel ready and inspired to jump into the spooky ooky world of James Wan?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so before we head into the unmade Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, the reason that we're all here today, I want to take a moment to pay our respects to Mr. James Wan, who, I'm going to say it, revolutionized horror not once, but like multiple times, in my opinion. Famous for writing and directing Saw in 2004. What are our feelings about this movie, Saw? Are we fans? Are we not fans? Where does it land for us?
Wow. I feel like I'm one of the 5 people that's keeping this franchise on just going, honestly.
Yeah,
at
it's
this
you.
Point. You already know the whole franchise. I'm carrying it on my back. I have my
Mhm.
hands pointed to my back right now. Let's go. You're welcome. Thanks.
I have not seen all of it because I've mentioned it before. I'm a little baby, and sometimes it's kind of hard. It's too nasty. It's nasty, but the first one's great, and so is the second one. There's something very Canadian about the second movie that, as a Canadian, is very comforting to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Explain.
Well, it's filmed in Canada. All of the actors in it are Canadian, and you can just tell that it's a Canadian production on some level. And I don't know, maybe you have to be Canadian to like clock Canadian productions, even if they're Hollywood. But that one just reeks it, especially literally all of the cast that are not the leads. It's just like very Canadian.
Okay, I understand because I'm American, so I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, another example of like a clearly Canadian horror movie is Jason X. Everything about that movie is fully Canadian.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I do too. I really do too. I actually just watched it this past Friday the 13th, and it's obviously incredible.
Yes.
Although I'm always standing up for part 8, and I think I was wrong for doing that.
Wait, which one is part 8?
Manhattan.
I don't hate part 8. I don't think
No.
it's a terrible movie. I just think it was misnamed. You shouldn't have named it He Goes to Manhattan if y'all were gonna spend all of 7 seconds in Manhattan. And I'm like, well, y'all should have did some. Okay, I'm not encouraged. That's breaking the law. But back in the 70s and shit, they was doing that guerrilla shoot. Look, we just gonna pull up with the camera in New York, and we just gonna be in New York. They would have fine. You cannot do that. But yeah, I'm like, well, why did y'all didn't even need much of a plot. You could have just dropped off Jason in New York, and it would have been fine.
Feels budgetary to me, but I like the boat stuff, especially that scene where they're on like the party room or like the dance room. It's very vibey. Like that's my Skinamarink. It's like that moment in that movie, but it's pretty bad. You can feel the franchise kind of like losing its grip with that movie. Okay, but back to James Wan. So Saw, huge hit, but it was followed by 2 consecutive flops. We had Death Sentence and Dead Silence in 2004. Both movies significant like financial failures and put him in director's jail for a couple of years, which is just not fair because I'm a ginormous fan of Dead Silence personally. I don't know.
Me too. We love it. We covered it.
Director's jail sent me.
Because, girl, how the fuck y'all was hating? First of all, it had great gothic tones. I love the coloring. That puppet was scary. The story was good. Fuck y'all. Y'all was fucking hating, and I don't appreciate that shit.
Nope.
And y'all was trying to put James Wan in a little jail because y'all was hating. Y'all was mad. You were upset that he was giving you greatness and you could not live up to it. You tried to shut him down. Because I'm like, some shit y'all could have just gave him a little more money and it would have solved some of the fucking problems. But no. Now the other movie you're talking about, I cannot defend because I do not know about that movie, but I will defend Dead Silence. I don't give a fuck.
It's one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm really happy to hear your passion for this incredible movie. Where is the Mary Shaw origin series? How good would that be?
Listen, yeah, want that today.
And you know who she kind of reminds me of too is, I forgot her name, but the Tooth Fairy from Darkness Falls. I feel like they could team up.
Oh my God, yes.
We covered those movies together.
You know what? I know that, and I listened to it. So maybe that is in my subconscious. What was her name? Do you remember offhand? You did it the episode. Like Matilda Capilda? Or like...
Please not Matilda Capilda. I gotta look it up because I don't know what her name was. I knew when we talked about it. Tooth Fairy Lady, Kathleen, please. I wonder if she does have like a name. I'm looking at the
she has a spooky
right now.
name. Absolutely, she did. She really did. I love Darkness Falls. I keep being like, we gotta make a sequel.
It was Matilda Dixon, I think.
Oh my God, did I get it right?
You got the first name right.
No,
because I'm looking.
Okay, Mary Shaw and Matilda Dixon, like power couple.
Yes, I support that. I support everything about that.
Okay, yeah. So he went to director's jail because the world is just not fair, and he had this ginormous comeback in 2010 with Insidious, which is actually one of the most profitable horror films of all time, made for about $1 million and earned like, I don't know, 60 or 70 times that back. I am a huge fan of the Insidious movies, personally. It's like my favorite type of like spooky soundstage horror. Other James Wan movies include Furious 7, Aquaman, Malignant, and of course, the recently released Megan, which he produced. Where'd you guys sit with Megan? How'd you like it?
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm not convinced that it like knew it was camp in its first iteration. Like I feel like they went back after the trailer went viral and kind of like camped it up a little bit, but that's okay because at the end of the day, the best camp, in my opinion, doesn't know that it's camp. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. But also, he made Malignant and some other stuff. I don't know. I think that might have been a little bit
on
some
purpose.
Of that might have been on purpose. Some of it, maybe not all of it.
I didn't like,
but some of it. I liked Malignant. I liked it. It was fancy. Although I have seen Basket Case and quite a few other movies, so I'm like, no. But also, I like Giallo films, and it's like it had Giallo elements, but it was like a ridiculous one, like some of the wigs, I was like, this is a choice.
The wigs.
This is a choice. but I still kind of support it, and I definitely support that jail cell scene.
It feels very mask for mask to me. It feels like kind of like I don't know, a masculine movie. And then when Dead Silence feels so queer to me, even though I sort of just put that on it myself. So that's kind of where I landed with it. Does that make sense to anyone outside of me?
You know what?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that's fine. Because, there,
Thank you.
I mean, because here's the thing, like, we all find things in different movies that we align with. So I see the vision, but also, like, you're you. So
I
you won't
am.
walk what stands out to you. Shout out to you for that.
Oh my God, thank you. Okay, so if you're okay with it, I think we finally made it to the main event, which is this unmade James Wan Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Can I give you guys a bit of a rundown about what this was going to look like?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Okay. Back in 2006, Twisted Pictures, who were behind Saw and were big supporters of James Wan and Evolution Studios, wanted to get in on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. I believe this was just after the second Platinum Dunes film. This time around, they were going to have to get the approval of Toby Hooper and Kim Henkel, original creators, and that was going to be a little bit more difficult because for the Platinum Dunes movies, they were just going to go in there and make it, and everyone was just going to get a paycheck. This time, they all kind of had to work together. So the studios approached Mr. Stephen Susco. He is the man responsible for writing The Grudge and The Grudge 2, the American films, and went on to write and direct Unfriended Dark Web. Here's my question for the two of you. How'd you feel about those two first Grudge American films?
Yes.
Big fans? That's a big yes?
Kat's a fan. I'm not a fan of the Grudge films.
It's the sound. It's the sound.
Yeah, Kat
I know they
hates the
tried.
sound. The Ring was better for me,
Well, yeah.
personally,
Come on.
but the Grudge, it's just the plot didn't make enough sense, especially when I watched it at that age. The plot was not doing it for me because I had so much trouble following it, and I was just like, so this ghost is mad because, okay, so what that got to do with everybody else? And then I was like, all right, well, all right. I don't think it's bad. I just really prefer The Ring.
Okay, well, in my opinion, there's no competition. The Ring is like in a different league, but The Grudge is okay. How do we feel about Sarah Michelle Gellar? Are we Buffy people or not so much?
Yes, amen.
I like her.
Always.
Yes, I
Thank you,
support
thank
her.
you, thank you. I didn't like Unfriended Dark Web. I was such a huge fan of the first movie, and the second one kind of came out as a bit of a kind of a wet fart. Did you see the second one?
I have. I've seen both of them. First of all, both of those movies are kind of mid to me. The first one was like mid, but also why y'all bully that girl because of what happened? That's really rude. That was really like y'all deserve everything that happened to you. The second movie, I kind of liked what happened because it was more realistic. Although some of the choices they made, like they didn't have to do that. They could have, like, why y'all digitize the people in and out the frame? The girl,
It
don't do
scares
that.
me. I'm like, they're all so distorted. It's not okay. Yeah,
well, that's what happens when you go on the dark web. You shouldn't have got on that little boat. You should have minded your fucking business, and you should have left that laptop where the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But you made a choice.
Uninstall Tor. Don't install Tor browser. So this Mr. Susco, and he was the one brought in to develop Texas Chainsaw Massacre, potentially for James Wan to direct, and he was also involved in the development phase as well. Susco said a couple of times that the idea kind of all began with the thought of, what does Leatherface want? What makes Leatherface tick? And so I'm going to provide that question to the two of you because I am curious. What is this fella after? What's his whole deal? What's his childhood trauma? What do you think?
I don't know, because I'm like, growing up in that house, like, I know his brain scrambled, first of all, because that family is not like the way they show love, the way they reward you for doing really fucked up shit, the way they kind of cash you out if you don't follow the rules. They're abusive. They definitely be hitting him and shit and calling him like, calling him fucked up names, kind of insulting his intelligence. I don't know, because I'm like, he's just a wild card, maybe because he's doing certain stuff for the approval of his family. So that's like part of it. But then as he gets older, or, he has his own desires. So he kind of follows that a little bit. But again, kind of like in a situation where he's not developed enough to really like balance them both well. So that's what I don't know. Cause I'm like, I think that it's your family. I think your family is really driving you to do things that they're kind of your family is your whole personality. Like, you do everything for them. You live with them. You making these sausages out of people. You wearing other people's face. Like, anybody tell you to do that? They are encouraging this shenanigans. They sure are. And I think it's like all his bullshit is family driven for the most part.
I was gonna say peace, because a lot of it, like, even sometimes, it seems like in various films, like Leatherface is like, man, fuck my family. So when they get to that kind of mode, they just be going off of like, oh, I'm trying to sit up here and sew these faces together and crochet these body parts together, whatever. And now somebody else in the house. I'm tired of these guests, and that's what it gives to me. So maybe a combination of peace and family. Like, they got a lot going on, so they just try to make it shake in the murder world.
I think I feel that. Because with someone like Michael Myers, it's pretty simple. He just, like, I don't know, wants to kill his family. That was his whole deal? I don't know if you can ask a question like that with Leatherface in the same way. Is it kind of like a misled place to begin? I don't know. But another kind of red flag was that allegedly, and according to this Joe Blow source, Lionsgate at the time had a couple of needs for this film if it was ever going to see the light of day. Apparently, they wanted to lean it towards a PG-13 rating, and they absolutely were like really wanted it to be in 3D because 3D was all the rage at the time, and they didn't want to see any cannibalism in it.
Excuse me.
This is what
Lionsgate?
they say. Yeah.
No, girl. Do you know what movie you're making, bitch? Because that don't make no motherfucking sense. Also, there is no such thing as a PG-13 fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. There's no such thing. Like, the idea of what that family does, you can't really effectively do it, to me, PG-13 wise, to make it gritty, as bloody. Like, that is what the franchise is. There are certain franchises that you can't, like Hellraiser. Why would there be a PG-13 Hellraiser? That's stupid. That's dumb. Like, this no. Like, something like for Michael Myers, there should not be. And I feel like there might be. Are there PG-13
No.
for Halloween? Okay, there should, like, none of them should be PG-13 because that's not the kind of franchise you're making. The Conjuring, you could do a PG-13.
Oh, for sure.
Hauntings, some demon. You could do PG-13, but certain things, certain killers, that has to be a rated R movie to do it well. If you don't want to make it a rated R movie, you don't want to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and that's okay. That's okay. You just got to step out the ring. Okay, that's not.
I almost have a hard time fully, even though Joe Blow doesn't go wrong, but I have a hard time believing it because, like, what kind of idiot would put this on a PG-13 direction? But another, I don't want to say rumor, but another alleged fact about this production was that some people at Lionsgate reportedly had not seen the original film, and this is potentially what led to Wan dropping out. So it does kind of sound like things were messy a little bit, and it's probably a good thing it never made it to the finish line.
Yes, because it would have been a fucking hot mess. Because one thing Texas Chainsaw Massacre has is depravity. Like, period. It's some kind of depravity, or there's people getting eaten, that weird sex stuff that they're always doing. Just the level of must on the film, honestly, is worth a rated R. I don't think children should be seeing that kind of musty ass shit. I'm sorry. It's gonna rattle their brains.
Even the title is enough to just be like, this is R. The title's scary enough. So yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. Would you be okay if I gave you a little bit of the world, like what could have been in this film? Because I find it interesting and I have questions for you. So in Jason Jenkins' Bloody Disgusting interview with Susco, the writer revealed that he had actually researched cannibalism in Texas, and interestingly found that there was a tribe of Native Americans named the Tonkawa tribe who practiced ritualistic cannibalism. And so the writer was then inspired to use this for the story. In the guy's research, he also found that the tribe possibly worked together with Texas Rangers and even the U.S. military, and were rumored to perform cannibalistic rituals before battle. And from what I've heard, it was definitely ingrained in the script, so much so that at the very opening scene, when you see Sally escape at the end of the first film, she's actually like on the back of like the tribe's truck, and they kill her with an axe to the head. My first question is, like, I watched Prey this weekend, and that like worked great, and they really tackled sort of like indigenous subject matter kind of effectively. Do you think that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise could have ever managed something similar?
I think it would have been messy and problematic. I'm
Okay.
I'm going to run right on out and say it because no.
Yeah.
Why is it even brought up? I know it's nobody indigenous in the room coming up with this idea.
No.
Like, just everything
Exactly.
about it, just no.
Although I haven't read the script, I don't know if anyone involved with Prey were indigenous or Native American. I don't know, but I assume in this case, yeah, that was not true for this production, especially because this is 2006, before a lot of these conversations were happening.
Definitely. I don't know, guys. I'm like, please don't do this. Please
Yeah.
just keep this is Texas. Like just keep it just keep it that. Don't try to turn this into some fucking Native American burial ground shit. Y'all already is on thin ice
Oh
with
yeah.
that fucking shit. Leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Leave it alone. Keep it as these motherfuckers who live here, they are making sausages and chili out of people. I think what's a better representation is keeping it as, because you see that in the later movies where, they taking a fucking, like they can't make money, the town is dried up, they can't make no money, and they gotta resort to certain shit to stay alive. So that's part of the reason. Although I feel like y'all could have made it different. You didn't have to make people hot dogs. You didn't have to do that. But they did that, but it's more like financially driven, like because there's nothing in the towns. You go to the gas stations, desolate. Honestly, it looks like the hills have eyes. There's not much there. Those towns look like they could be literally next to each other to me.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about this franchise is that like desert ghost town, abandoned gas station, hills have eyes energy, and I do think that's where it succeeds the most. Can I give you a little bit more of the plot that I found from the script, because it is kind of interesting? So it follows immediately the events of the first film, and then we fast forward 40 years, and Leatherface has been placed by his family to work in a slaughterhouse, and he's working for this really cruel older couple who have replaced his mask with a cloth mask, and it's actually screwed into his face, which sounds really grotesque and kind of cool. And so there's this new kind of iconic mask for the film, which I would have been interested in seeing what that would have looked like. Of course, Leatherface sort of breaks loose, murders these old people. He's sort of gigantic and undefeatable, something along the lines of what he was like in the 2022 version. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but rumor has it this was supposed to be a trilogy. And this trilogy was going to be set over 3 days. And allegedly, the ideas was James Wan was potentially going to direct number 1. Toby Hooper was going to be brought back potentially to direct number 2. And Neil Marshall, I believe the director of The Descent, was going to be maybe brought in for the third one. What do we think of these 3 for potential TCM modern trilogy?
I don't know about this, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, I don't. To be fair, like I've seen some of their work, so I'm like, I see your work, but it doesn't give off TCM. Like it doesn't. But not to say they couldn't do it. Some people we put in a box because of what they're allowed to make and what production companies see that you make well. So they're gonna be like, no, you're gonna make this kind of movie because that's what I know that you know how to make well, and you can make a return. Versus, let me just let you make some shit I've never seen you make before because you don't know if it's gonna be good or not. And for me right now, I'm at the feeling of I don't know if this is gonna be good, guys. I don't. I would have to see it. I would have to see it with my eyes. I would like to see it.
I mean, I've never seen James Wan direct something that isn't like beautiful, that doesn't look amazing, but I don't know if this was it, if this was going to be the right thing for him. And I think he made the right choice of backing out to make Insidious instead.
Yeah, better choice. Because here's the thing, like,
yes,
I think I would have pressed play regardless, but I know there are other people who are not standing at my level of chaos. So Insidious was definitely the better choice. Shout out to you, Mr. James Wan.
100%. I love those movies. You know what? I don't think the third one gets enough love. I don't know how you feel. For the third one to be like really spooky and weird. So Insidious 3. One other fact about these unmade movies that I find interesting was that they were going to have Leatherface in multiple masks depending on the mood and activity that he was participating in. So, for example, which is a little heteronormative, but if he was like making food, he was going to be wearing the mother mask, which was sort of effeminate. Or if he was like going to be chasing people down, it was going to be like a more rough masculine look. which is, I don't know how I feel about it, but it would have been interesting to see variations of his mask in one film. Final question for you guys is, how does this all sound, and do we wish we could have seen it?
Okay. All right. I feel as though if they would have had it rated R, right? And left it rated and let James Wan do what he does. I would have liked to see James Wan Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because the real thing is, out of like 10 of the movies, like, yeah, it's like what, 9, 10 movies, many of them are not that good. Okay, it would have been fine to let him do it, because I am sure it would not have been the worst movie in the bunch. But also, I'm someone I'm willing to take some gambles on horror. I'm willing to see, let him make it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I don't think production companies are like, let him make it, see what happens. They want to see the return. I'm like, no, I kind of want to see this just to see what the fuck will happen, whether it's good or bad. So I personally would like to see it. I want to know how James Wan is going to utilize the fog machine, because he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I was very curious to how it was going to look. Okay. All right. And Kat.
Once again, I would, if this was a thing, I think I would have pressed play just out of curiosity. So I'm on the fence. I'm gonna say I wish this was a thing, because I just want to know where this is going. Only if it's rated R, like Jazz said, because the PG-13, I'm already a little leery. Just like, all right, like, I'm surprised I liked Megan as much as I did. So yeah,
Okay.
no, has to be rated R. Has to be able to go there like Degrassi. Especially if it has this chaotic lineup and chaotic storyline.
It has to be rated R, otherwise it's like, I'm one of the few people that liked the MTV Scream TV show, which was like, if Scream was PG-13. So maybe there is a world where it would work. I just cannot envision it. Yeah, I think that it sounds, I'm not fully briefed. I haven't read it. I don't know for sure, but it sounds like they were potentially going down some inroads with this one that maybe would not stand the test of time. So that's one of the reasons I'm thinking maybe it was a pretty good idea for this to sort of slip away. But I do think it would have been really interesting to get a new trilogy a la the Blumhouse Halloween films with James Wan, Hooper, and Marshall. I mean, these are horror heroes, to say the least. But I don't know. Okay, into the world of conclusions. I have some questions that it's going to have to type into your psychic abilities somewhat. And I want to know, what do you believe the future of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise looks like? Are we going to see more films? Is it going to be theatrical? Is it going to be a TV series? Like, what is next for this franchise?
I feel like I smell another reboot. Like, they cannot keep away from this franchise. They tried to do it in the early aughts and bring it back. Especially around that 3D, everything in 3D. And there were a lot of choices made. Of course, we have the 2022 film, and story-wise, there were a lot of choices made. The best part about it was all the blood, guts, and ass. And really, wow, if we could just, lead with this and maybe play catch up with the story, maybe I'd be interested to see all what is going on. But, but a lot of people weren't really feeling the 2022 one. So I'm pretty sure someone's going to pop back up with a reboot of this whole shaboop, and I'm prepared to be pissed.
Interesting. I think that's a good take.
Okay, so I feel like they're definitely going to make another movie, because although people had a lot to say about that new movie, they were talking about it. It was popular. It was literally fucking trending. Everyone was like, yeah, whoa. So they're gonna make another movie. I don't know if it's gonna be the same person. I don't know if they're gonna take heed to kind of some of the criticisms and kind of apply those, but still keep the Chainsaw Massacre a part of it, because people really responded well to that. So I'm like, y'all could kind of mesh the two ideas of having the family but also the massacre in there. You can do that. That can be done. They're not gonna leave it alone, like Kat said. You're not, just like Friday the 13th, although they've left it alone for a while, it's always some talks, a game, a show, something that they're going to make. Halloween, they're going to keep remaking that. Even in most horror films that are really iconic have some kind of remake. The Blob, The Fly, House on Haunted Hill, 13 Ghosts. You can go back as far as, the third Nosferatu has how many remakes, Dracula has how many remakes. Like, you could go back to in the beginning of time. There's always going to be a remake for something iconic. And because Texas Chainsaw Massacre is iconic, it is. They're going to make another one. I think they're going to take it back musty, because that was the big critique. It wasn't musty enough. It definitely felt like they sprayed water over the franchise but didn't use soap. So it was cleaner, but still a little, but that's not the brand of the franchise. So they're going to bring the must back and then keep the blood. I think they're going to keep Leatherface brutal, because that is for the extendo horror nerds who like to dissect what kind of person Leatherface is. Everyone's not fucking doing that, okay? Everyone's like, yeah, man, big man chainsaw, woo! That's what they're gonna say that. And I need people to understand that yes, there are nuances to the character, they exist, but a lot of people are not even picking up on those. They just came to see somebody with a chainsaw cut people to fuck up. If they want the nuances, they can go back and watch the movies with the nuance. But I think they're gonna come back bloody and musty again. They're gonna remake this movie. They're not gonna stop.
I think you're right. And you're both right. Like the most recent one, super successful. I think it did really well on Netflix. But there was a lot of sort of critical feedback. So in my opinion, I think they might go into like a very different direction next time around. I think A24 right now has their hands on the Friday the 13th franchise for a TV series. And I would not be surprised if like a similarly prestige house took in this franchise and tried to like gussy it up a little bit and try to make it a little bit, more serious and dark to see how that plays. I could see them going in a very different direction next time, and maybe it'd be interesting. I don't know. So that's what I think. All right. Where can you guys be found online if you so wish to be found?
Yes. Well, you can find us both at all things Girl That's Scary. If you put Girl That's Scary into the Google machine, it'll pop up on our website. We're on Instagram, Twitter. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Girl That's Scary. Girl That's Scary stuff.
Amazing. And what about your personal accounts? Do you want to drop those?
I am at Danny the Kid on all the things.
Yeah, and I am at Smoking Aces. The I is a 1, so you can find me there.
Amazing. And thank you both so much for coming on Development Hell. It's been a long time coming.
Yes,
Yes.
yeehaw.
Thank you so much for listening to Development Hell. If you enjoy this podcast, then please do us a major favor of leaving us 5 stars and writing a positive review. It really makes all the difference in the world. We'll see you next week with a brand new episode of Development Hell.
Thank you for listening to the Dread Podcast Network.